Hello, everyone, and welcome to metroTV. I'm your host, Andy Hoyd, publisher and CEO of Metro Magazine. We have a great show again for you today. I will be talking to Marjorie Moss from ShareOmaha and also Brooke Hudson about Omaha Fashion Week, the changes they're making this year, and how you can buy tickets to join in person and also join virtually. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, welcome everyone. I am here with the amazing Brooke Hudson. Brooke is the producer of Omaha Fashion Week. Brooke, thank you for joining me for a virtual Metro TV segment.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here. I love this. And hanging out here in my bedroom, just having a nice girl chat. This is perfect.
This is awesome. This is awesome. So let's talk about Omaha Fashion Week, because with everything going on, you and your team had to make some decisions about what was going to go on this year. So let's just first, before we get into that, just talk about the history of Omaha Fashion Week.
Sure. Yeah, so we have been, this is, let me think here, 13 years. So maybe 26 seasons, 24 seasons, because the first couple of years we only did one season a year. So we've been around for a long time. And it was started by my husband. He met a lot of aspiring fashion designers downtown, and he owned like a nightclub / art gallery down there called the Nomad Lounge.
Yeah.
And third generation fashion for him as well. So he had kind of a background in the industry and grew up around it. But he met all these fashion designers, and he was really surprised to be meeting all these aspiring designers here in Omaha. But he is an ideas guy, and he thought, well, you know what? Why don't we just bring these people together? We'll shut down a city street, we'll build a runway and see what happens. So he did that, and we ended up with, 12 designers, 20 models, and 2,000 people in the street to watch the show.
It was fabulous. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Yeah.
It was like one of the most memorable experiences of my life. I was not involved in the production at that time. I was just actually a sponsor. I was representing Creighton University. And it was so cool. It felt like we were doing something we weren't supposed to be doing.
I understand what you're talking about with that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is Omaha. This does not feel like we're in Omaha. We're not supposed to be able to do things like this in Omaha.
Yeah.
So that was really memorable and cool. So after that, he kind of felt like, oh wow, we've got something here that might have some legs. So we kept going. And now 13 years later, we work with hundreds of designers. We do about 60 on our through our runway program, and then 130 high school kids, a fashion camp that we do starting at age 6, which is actually going on right now. And so lots of designers that we're working with, and they're coming in from all over the country. Then we have about 10,000 attendees per season or per year, actually. And so it's gotten a lot bigger since the early days. And we now have our own venue, so we're not an outdoor show anymore. We're a controlled environment, which reduces stress for me a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the outdoor, because how long have you been inside?
We've been inside since 2016, so 4 years.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
So we were open air for the first 3 or 4 years, and then we got rained on way too many times.
Yeah.
And I started building these tents after that, and I know so much about how to get water and power and luxury porta potties hooked up. If anybody needs to know any of these things, how to hook up air conditioning units.
Yeah.
I can do it all. You want to know how to get a crane in place? I can do it. So I've learned so many things.
Right. And the good news
is this season I can learn even more things.
Yeah. And you don't have to worry about the outdoor piece. But yeah, let's talk about, because the spring fashion show was the end of February?
End of February, beginning of March. So we COVID was just kind of getting on the scene at that point. We're like, I wonder, that's weird. We didn't really think anything of it.
Yeah.
It certainly was a threat to the production at that time.
Sure.
But literally, just blew wide open 2 weeks after we had our spring season. And Kansas City Fashion Week actually had to cancel their show and refund all their ticket holders, and that their show was like a week or two after ours. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
we
yep.
were really thankful that we snuck in there before things got really bad.
Well, in Omaha Fashion Week, I mean, again, like 13 years, over 10,000 people attend each year. I mean, it is an event um, in Omaha and an important event. So,
Mhm.
once we kind of got into everything, when did you start talking? I mean, when did you start thinking about, okay, what are we going to do in August? Because
Yeah.
we need to do something different.
Well, let's see. Everything shut down on March 13th.
Yeah.
And at that time, we were like, oh crap. We're, we own venues as well. So we're trying, figure
Oh my
what do
God.
we do
Yeah.
about moving all these things? And
Yeah.
we were shaping up to have like one of the best quarters ever. So we moved, I think, about 90 events so far
Wow.
to the end
I
of this
mean,
year and beginning of the year. It's crazy. But yeah, so that happened, and I was like, well, I'm sure this whole thing will blow over by the time we have to open ticket sales on May 1st. Like, we'll be totally fine. Um, so we went ahead and opened design locations and just moving along, and got to mid-April, and it's like, oh God, I don't think it's going to happen.
yeah.
So anyway, fast forward to mid-May, I was like, okay, the designer applications have come in. We're not seeing a material difference in the level of demand from designers. So the need for designers to have a show is still there. That was a huge indicator for me.
Mhm.
If demand had been weak, I would have said, let's just cancel everything. But because the designers showed up and they want to do this, I'm like, all right, so I'm going to have to sharpen my pencil and figure out how to make something happen. And I gave myself a deadline that if we don't have an understanding of how or when the state is going to open up by June 15th, then I'm going to have to cancel Fashion Week because there's no way I could get it
Yeah.
all together in that amount of time. Anyway, about June 15th, the governor finally makes an announcement and starting to roll out plans for how the state's going to reopen.
Yeah.
And at that point, we had come out with this idea of doing a hybrid event. So that means we're going to have a live event where people can actually be there in person, but we're also going to be live streaming it for an online audience. And so that way we're kind of hedging our bets.
Sure.
So no matter which way the governor went in terms of how the state was going to reopen, we were covered. And the great thing about that is, since cases are starting to spike and the news isn't good on COVID, if for some reason the state of Nebraska has to close down or we feel there's too great of a risk to have a live event, we can still do a great production and just convert all of
Yeah.
our live event ticket holders to digital. And that way it's kind of an insurance policy for us to make
Sure.
sure we can still actually event.
Yeah.
So those were some tough decisions. It costs a heck of a lot more to do a live stream to the level that we're going to do it at.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it to have the assurance that it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
interesting how you really, you have to look at these additional options, like you said, to put things in place, because once you made the
And
decision to
that's
move forward,
on.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. When you
um,
make a decision to move forward, you've got to have, in this environment, you have to have multiple plans.
yeah, yeah,
And you've got to be willing to figure out a new way of gathering people.
yes,
I fundamentally believe people are designed to be together, right? I mean, we are made, that's in our DNA, to be together. And so it's up to us as event producers to find new and safe ways of making that happen.
yeah,
And so for us, it was adding this live stream layer to the production, but it is also limiting the number of people we'll allow in the venue. So
yep,
rather than having 1,000 people, we're going to limit it to 400. And we're putting some things in place to help prevent the crowd from congregating around like a buffet, for example, or congregating around the bar.
sure,
So we're going to be delivering food and drink in different ways, and there's going to be a lot of changes. It's going to be a very different experience, but
uh,
I think it's going to be fun and interesting, and I think the audience enjoy the change.
well, let's get down to some specifics about when is it? What are the dates?
Yeah.
We're still going
So
to like a week, like 5 days, 5 to 6 days.
it was originally scheduled for 6 days,
Okay.
but we have compressed the week into 3 days. So it's going to
Okay.
be August 27th to the 29th. So that is just, it's a safety issue. It's an economic issue. So that's how we're doing it. But the good news is it'll still be the same amount of content from designers, just squeezed into fewer days. So they're going to be big shows. We're going to have 10, 12, 13 designers each night, which normally we'd have like 7 or 8.
Okay.
So this is every night's going to feel kind of like a finale with the amount of content there is. So the 27th and 28th are our kind of preliminary showcases. So you'll get to see on both nights, you'll see emerging and featured designers.
Okay.
And then on Saturday night, the 29th, will be our finale. So we'll choose the top 5 from each group to show on the finale, and they'll be competing for prize packages as always.
Okay. So where can people get tickets? And are you buying tickets to the physical event, or are you also buying tickets to the live stream event? How is that working? How does that work?
Yeah. So we are doing both. So
Okay.
we're selling tickets to the physical event and to the live stream.
Okay.
We're doing this at omahafashionweek.com/tickets. And there's, on our ticketing portal, there's 6 different options there. So you just need to pay attention when you're buying your tickets. Am I buying it for the live event or the digital event? So look for those keywords, and that'll tell you which direction to go. The good thing about it with the digital, it's all going to be deployed through TicketLeap. So if you buy access to that, you're not going to have other people out there who haven't bought access who will be able to view that content. It's exclusively bought.
Okay.
And the great thing is those tickets are $40, and we're encouraging, we know people are going to get together in groups and watch, so we're encouraging watch parties. And if I can work it out, I would actually like to live stream somebody's watch party into our live stream. So we'll see if I can.
That would be awesome. Yes. Yeah.
So I want to have fun with it. This is just new. I mean, I still obviously would really, really want people to come to the show, and the live tickets have gone well, so I'm not worried about that. I'm pretty sure we'll sell out there. But I also really hope people will embrace the digital, because I think that's the way of the future. This is, it's not only safety, but it's kind of an experiment, and us kind of putting a stake in the ground and saying this is a direction that we think is going to grow. And we're seeing that across the fashion industry, that digital delivery of events is a thing that's going to become more and more creative and successful.
Yeah. Well, we've got about a minute left, so let's just talk. How else can people support Omaha Fashion Week? You've got the ticket sales piece, but
so ticket sales are great. We are definitely in the market for sponsorship, and that is a very hard sell right now. Corporate is, there's been moratoriums on spending across the board because of the economic uncertainty. But if there's anybody out there who wants to sponsor, I would gladly accept a check. We do have a lot of really interesting opportunities in the digital broadcast, with even doing like 30-second commercial spots, which are much lower cost than a traditional Fashion Week sponsorship. So even something like that will help us go a long way towards defraying the additional cost of the live stream. So that's another way. Also, following us on social media and sharing our content. We're going to be putting out a lot more content. This whole being home thing has forced us to think differently about how we connect to the audience. And so we're going to be producing a lot more behind the scenes content and interviews and things like that leading up to shows that people can watch, and then also encourage them to share.
Absolutely. Well, again, people go to omahafashionweek.com. There's lots of information there. You can buy tickets there, reach out to you for sponsorships. And again, like you said, social media is a great place to stay in touch with what's happening, because you have great information, feature the designers and all that good stuff.
There's so much to be proud of what our designers are doing. So even just sharing costs nothing to share, and it makes Omaha proud. So we're excited about what our designers are doing.
Yeah. Well, Brooke, it's so good to talk to you, and it's so good to see you. It's been a while since we've actually seen each other. But the virtual Metro TV, this has been an awesome way to just keep things going on our end. So, Brooke,
I love it. It's awesome. I put pants on for the occasion, so there's that.
I did too. Well, we don't have to, but I did. Yeah. All right. So thank you. I will check in with you later. Okay. All right.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Well, hello everyone. I'm here with Marjorie Moss. She is the Executive Director for ShareOmaha. Thank you for joining me today, Marjorie, again.
Andy, it is always so great to talk with you. Thank you for having us on again today.
You are welcome. So before we dive into the Banking on School Supplies campaign, which is super exciting, let's just get an overview of ShareOmaha.
Absolutely. We're still relatively new. We're a program and a website that launched in January of 2019, and it's been a rocket ship of a year. So what ShareOmaha tries to accomplish, and I think does pretty well, is we connect now over 400 nonprofits to people in the community who want to make a difference. So we act as nonprofits posting their needs, either through volunteerism, through events, donations, shopping wish lists, which we'll get into a little bit here, but also all those different ways to engage. Each nonprofit puts forth a way that they need help. It's all driven by them, their needs. And the public gets to search in a really intuitive way how they want to affect the community, and they can find nonprofits and maybe even just gems, diamonds in the rough that they didn't even know were there in our community. That's the beauty of having our database and our website.
Absolutely. So you've got a campaign. It's called Banking on School Supplies. That's happening now. I believe it happens through July 31st.
Yes.
But let's talk about that. This is a way people can definitely give back to nonprofits.
So in spirit of being that conduit between people that want to make a difference and nonprofits having needs, what we found is that there are so many nonprofits across the metro area, and there's 12 represented in this campaign, that have common needs. And so we've been able to leverage our platform and our promotions on our platform to be able to have those 12 nonprofits represented, and all of them have a central funnel by which they're going to receive school supplies for their clientele in the fall. So, and it's called Banking on School Supplies because it's a coming together of 11 competing banks, which I think is just remarkable.
Yeah.
So many of those banks have offered up their physical locations as drop-off locations in case you want to buy at a store or from a local retailer. But if you want to do this from the comfort of your couch, you are more than welcome to shop a consolidated Amazon wish list. And all of those items get shipped to North Star Foundation, and then they're distributed equally to the nonprofits that have declared their need through that 12 organizations coming together. And I would want to credit Partnership for Kids in being kind of the genesis of this idea. Deb Denbeck and her team really saw a need for this and came together about it, and then got banks on board to really power the campaign. So it's just this coming together of two different sectors that want to help.
Yeah, and I'm kind of doing double duty. I'm looking at a computer over here, which I've got the website brought up, but the organizations, do you want to list off the organizations?
Oh, sure. No problem. Well, first off, if people want to find this, it's really easy. So for the length of the campaign, it's linked at the top of ShareOmaha.org, but it's also ShareOmaha.org/supplies. And we have 100 Black Men, Avenue Scholars, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Clubs of the Midlands, Completely Kids, Girls Inc., Kids Can, Latino Center of the Midlands, North Star Foundation, Partnership for Kids, like I said, the Simple Foundation, and finally Teammates. Those are all the recipients of these funds. And we are just so grateful to the partners that came together from the banking side to support. So that's Access Bank, American National Bank, Bank of Bennington, Core Bank, Dundee Bank, First National Bank of Omaha, Great Western Bank, Pinnacle Bank, Security National Bank, UMB, and Wells Fargo. So all those names and those brands and those banking partners that you trust, they're on this list, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I Love, and also on your website, so they've got the different banks, they've got their various locations, and like you said, you can if you don't want to go out, you don't want to, we're still, COVID-19, we're still being mindful of that, so you don't actually have to go anywhere. You can do it from your couch, you can do it sitting in your living room. Yeah,
But there are individuals that want to shop locally, and we totally get that. So
absolutely.
there's a list of a list of the new unopened items needed: backpacks, highlighters, crayons, etc. There's a full list on the page. But be cognizant that during COVID-19, lobby spaces aren't optimal for this. So the boxes are either going to be outside the building or in the vestibule, and it's weather permitting. So collection boxes are placed by the main entrance or immediately inside, and just don't do them through the magic tubes, through the drive up.
Right.
You just want to do it at the lobby entrance. So just to make certain, and call branches for details if it's your own local bank, just to make sure that you're in line with what their protocol is. And all the locations that are participating are all listed with their addresses on the page. And
then you can drop off these school supplies or do it online through end of day July 31st.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when, and we'll know probably, 2, 4, 5 days afterwards, like how many have come in from Amazon in addition to the branch, the branch receipts. So we're just so excited to see like the totality of everything that's at North Star Foundation. So we can't wait. And so grateful for them for being the housing of all of these donations. It's really, it's something.
Well, and I know when we talked before, maybe a month or so ago, we're just, I think as always, but, people are really looking for ways to make a difference and to give back to others and to organizations. And I know what you guys are ShareOmaha is so passionate about is making it easy for people to do that.
Yes. Andy, I didn't mean to cut you off, but absolutely. We want the kind of the big words we use are democratizing philanthropy. We want there's as few barriers as possible to somebody wanting to do good.
Absolutely.
And the shopping the wish list items is a great integration. It's a great feature of our website, but just the website in general is just intuitive. It's just a great tool to figure out what I care about, who's addressing that cause that resonates with me, and then the ways that I can start engaging. And you have organizations in your mind already that you support, but if there's something that is on your mind, on your heart, that you don't have an outlet for, we are best suited for the new introduction. So your first gift, your first time volunteering, your first time attending an event, and then we really, like in that conduit fashion, we want to hand it off to the nonprofit to really have that touch and that relationship with the neighbor that's interested in getting involved. So we don't house the relationships other than trying to find out some great success stories. So,
well, I always enjoy having this conversation or having a conversation with you on Metro TV. We will continue these conversations. You're wonderful, and we've got this great partnership where you guys you're always sharing a story or having some great information in Metro Magazine every other month. I think this last one was about animals. So encourage people to just either go online at spiritofomaha.com and read the article or pick it up around town. But anything else you want to share in the last 30 seconds? ShareOmaha.
That column that we have in Metro Magazine, we call it the do-gooder column. So if there's somebody in your life or somebody that you really think needs a spotlight on some amazing work that they've done or that they're a leader in, just shoot us an email, info@ShareOmaha.org, and we will follow up and try to tell that story. So it's always an opportunity to put forth somebody doing amazing things in the community. And I'm grateful for our partnership too, Andy. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Well, I look forward again to talking to you soon, but get out there, people, get these school supplies and support these nonprofits. It's so important. And thank you to all the banks involved as well. And thank you, Marjorie.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you for joining me today on Metro TV. You can visit us, spiritofomaha.com, and also find us on Facebook, Metro Magazine, all one word. We have some exciting new announcements that are going to be coming up in August. So be sure to stay tuned and come back here for us next week as we interview some of amazing people in the Omaha community. So I'll see you then.